Take you now to our reporters who are on the story tonight. Tumaole Mohlaoli joining us from Bloemfontein. Nicholas Bauer is outside Luthuli House. Tumaole, let's begin with you. Of course, what we've seen this afternoon is the further mobilization of the group that has started these protests, calling for Ace Magashule's head, effectively saying he needs to resign as Secretary-General of the ANC until these matters, the controversies around his tenure while he was Premier of the Free State, have been cleared. And today, they hold a press briefing, and in the wake of this, there is the announcement around the warrant of arrest. What has been their reaction?
Well, very good afternoon to you, Kathy. Their reaction has been one of basically welcoming this announcement or this breaking news that the warrant of arrest has been issued for Ace Magashule. They say that it's been long coming, and as they see it, it is a move in the right direction, a move that sends a signal to ANC supporters and to the party rank and file that the movement is now moving towards trying to cleanse itself, to paraphrase what they're saying. They're saying that a lot of what has been happening in terms of the widespread, rampant corruption that has been linked to ANC deployees in government and other institutions like state-owned enterprises has really sent the wrong signal that the ANC at large is complicit with these activities of corruption. However, they say that members in good standing, those who have been opposed to this, are now finally rallying behind, the movement changing its image. And they are saying that this move is widely welcomed because they feel that the ANC has, unfortunately, over the last couple of years, been hijacked by those who only seek to serve their interests, despite the party being given a mandate at the polls to try and turn the lives of the majority of South Africans who are still living in poverty and under difficult conditions, without running water, without basic services. These are stories that break on our news every single day, and they say that the work at hand is so large that the ANC can ill afford to be caught up in graft.
Nicholas, let's take a look at the statement that has come out of Luthuli House then this afternoon around what should happen from here going forward. There'll be big questions about whether the Secretary-General steps aside as a result now of this case that he's likely to be facing.
Well, an extremely neutral-sounding statement from Luthuli House today, and really an unenviable position that Pule Mave, the national spokesperson of the ANC, finds himself in. The big takeaway from me was that they're not going to prevent ANC members from coming out in support of Ace Magashule. Supporters of Ace Magashule will be free to lend their support. They've also reiterated that Ace Magashule himself has said he will cooperate with any investigation into alleged wrongdoing, but he maintains his innocence itself. But, I mean, Kathy, this is really when the factionalism within the ANC is going to come to a head. You don't get more serious than one of the integral members of the top six in the form of the Secretary-General, the person that runs the party on a day-to-day basis, getting charged in a court of law for corruption. It's really going to be a massive litmus test for that NEC directive that anybody facing serious charges as an ANC member, regardless from president to branch member, they need to step aside until their name has been cleared. You already played that clip earlier. Ace Magashule doesn't look as though he's going to be taking any mind of that ANC NEC directive. But this is where we stand. Is this going to be a triumphant moment for the faction aligned to President Cyril Ramaphosa? I don't think so. I think that there's a lot more time and a lot more twists to play out in this saga. You've seen the various formations within the ANC itself coming out in support of Ace Magashule, the likes of the MKMVA, Mkhonto Wesizwe Military Veterans Association, Carl Niehaus already appearing on Newzroom Afrika this afternoon. We've got the ANC Youth League in the Free State also coming out and rubbishing these claims, saying that they're trying to politically persecute Ace Magashule. And no real surprises there, seeing as though Ace Magashule does hail from the Free State himself. But we just don't know at this stage, really. And if we take Luthuli House, for instance, we are sitting in a quasi-ghost town, really. There's been no action whatsoever coming and going. And we wait with bated breath to see what is going to happen next. Really, for me, the greatest prize in political reporting right now would be able to be a fly on the wall in the next ANC National Executive Committee meeting.
Nicholas, I'm going to stay with the issue of factionalism that you've raised and take it back to you, Tumaole. One of the things that is inevitably going to come up is going to be the role of the likes of Mzukisi Dukwana, who's leading those that are part of this charge, in particular that seems to be aimed at the Secretary-General of the ANC. Dukwana, of course, we know last year when some of that funding of the CR17 campaign was made public, he was one of those that was listed as having received monies from the CR17 campaign. Unquestionably, his motives in terms of leading this charge are going to be questioned and ultimately may well lead back to the president.
Absolutely, Kathy, and it also leads to questions around the timing of this grouping coming out so strongly in view of the news breaking that, of course, the warrant of arrest has been issued now against Ace Magashule. Now, this press conference that we covered a little earlier, where Dukwana was one of the key speakers, was called basically on news of this warrant of arrest having been issued, being confirmed, and therefore this is how we came to cover this one. So that speaks a lot to how this grouping led by Nkolisi Dukwana is feeling emboldened now that there seems to be a sea change and very strong moves to try and bring Ace Magashule before the courts to answer specifically for the asbestos matter here in the Free State, the corruption linked therein, where monies that were meant to eradicate asbestos houses were then misappropriated. So that speaks to the whole issue of the question of the timing of this particular press conference and the timing of this particular grouping coming out so strongly, because in the lead up to this week we have been hearing murmurs here and there about this move to arrest Ace Magashule or to issue a warrant against him. But before then you get a sense that people had been hedging their bets and watching what the developments very closely. Now that they finally have the confirmation, this is what time they decided to come out very strongly, and you get a sense that they feel emboldened that now the faction that was behind Ace Magashule, and they were very explicit during the press conference saying that for the longest time they had been hounded out of all structures within the province here in the Free State by those who in support of Ace Magashule to make sure that his grip on the province, whether it be through party structures or provincial government, was unquestioned. So now that the tide is turning, they have come out and they are feeling that this is the time then for them to nail their colors to the mast and politically to make a statement to say that it's time to clean house within the ANC. They went so far as to use strongly worded phrases like undesirable people have found their way within the ANC structures. Now, what undesirable people those might be would certainly suggest that those who are against what they are trying to see happen in terms of their view that the ANC should be cleaning out house, those are the people that they feel need to be pushed out, the people who have been linked to corruption, the people who have been linked to allegations of misappropriation of funds specifically geared for the poor.
Well, it's going to be a big day tomorrow. We're expecting a provincial march against corruption, in particular by those that Tumaole has just been speaking about. They'll also be picketing at the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court. This is as 6 suspects who have been arrested in relation to that asbestos contract are expected to appear in court. We understand they'll hand over a memorandum to the Premier of the Free State demanding a progress report related to many other cases, including the asbestos contracts and the Estina dairy farm matters. This is among a list of others that they've put in that particular statement. So we'll leave it there with both of you gentlemen for now. Both of them, of course, will continue keeping an eye on the story. We'll certainly bring you more developments as they come in.